world will be richer and, can work less and have more. We will provide an AI doctor. We will provide an AI tutor.
You gonna stay away from it? Flushing all that paint down the drains.
Is it still true in a world where we have the technology to hack human beings and manipulate them like never before, that the customer is always right, that the voter knows best? Or have we gone past this point? The simple ultimate answer that, well, this is what people want and they know what's good for them. Maybe it's no longer the case.
If you want the truth, it's not enough to have the technology to produce information. You need institutions that make the effort to separate reliable information from the of unreliable information. That if you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible.
How's it going, everyone? So, they're telling us you will own nothing and be happy. They're just telling us right out. And so we're going to talk about this a little bit today. You will own nothing and be happy. Let's show you a few clips, what they're always throwing in our face that we just can't seem to hear it and listen about.
Because actually, if you can get people to share a car, you can take out, a lot of cars in the streets. I think it's Singapore where they looked at how they could bring it down to about 40% of the cars if we would use them smarter. And the interesting thing about technology is that it makes sharing easy and fun and not annoying. It used to be a little bit difficult to share, you would have to go in somewhere in the other end of town and get a key, and that's not what you want to do if you want to take your car. But if you can just use your neighbor's car because you have a smartphone and an app and you don't even need to know the neighbor to get into his car, it's much easier and much more fun to share, and you start then thinking completely different about transport and traffic.
Apparently Whiskey thinks every day is he's got to walk his human real far. Ridiculous. Come on, Whiskey. Everyone else gets the day off, not us. Public servants get it. Not the police, of course, but not the cop watchers either, right? Cop watchers. So anyways, and I'll show some more clips here and there throughout this, depending on the direction I go with this video. But here's the point, they're telling us you own nothing and be happy. How many of you are, this scenario, the clip I showed, what did she say? Oh, well, it's so exciting now because you don't even have to know your neighbor and you could just take their car. Because, it's everybody's car now. It's not your car. It's wherever it was left at. Are you cool with that? I'm not cool with that. And I think anyone is dumb that is cool with that. It's just, but here's the point. They're telling us this, and let me show you how the divide is in politics, right? Most of us assume that the left is all for that. They make it clear that they are. But then all these people assume that the right would not be for that. Like Trump's going to be against that stuff. I assure you, this stuff's happening. This is the New World Order's view. And Trump is every bit of a part of it. What I want to point out is let's just take our local lives, okay? Like I keep trying to point out, you're not going to end nonsense at the top until you start taking out the stuff at the bottom, right? So let's consider that though. You will own nothing and be happy. They are already implementing these policies. They're just doing it in a way that we don't necessarily see, right? That we're not paying attention to. You know, the point is, they've already implemented this stuff, and right. Okay, so we take a look at our local issues, and a lot of it's issues we don't want to look at. It's other people, we're ignoring it, we're not paying attention to what's happening to everyone else, you know. But these policies are being implemented. You can take my own case, right, and I break it down to you and it will prove it, right? Okay, so right here in a Republican-held county, completely, almost all Republican, right? Running the show, and they 100% implemented these types of policies. They're already being put into effect, and when you try to go against it, the courts that should be protecting our Constitution are not, right? They're looking the other way because these policies are being implemented. They will soon be here, and everyone's acting like we're waiting around, waiting for some politician to tell us, okay, we've now submitted. We're submitting. We are submitting currently, right? And it's all coming into play, okay? Like I said, you know, today's November 11th. For many of you, it's Veterans Day. For me, it's 3 years. It's exactly 3 years to the day that my nightmare began. And, you know, while it started before, you know, the violation, nonetheless, the violation, complete violation of all of my rights began on November 11th, 2021. And out of that, if you take the outcome of all of that, what they pretty much said is you own nothing, shut up and be happy about it, right? It all comes into play. If we pay attention, this is how it all comes into play. You know, I'm just giving an example of my case because of what I have experienced from, right? And you, I'm sure anyone, wherever you're at, you don't have to be from Ohio, wherever you're at, there's some kind of similar case going on right now where people are, the courts, the government's just stepping in, allowing people to lose their shit and nothing being done about it. They're already doing it in some of the stores where they pretty much allowing people to steal X number of dollars before whatever, right? But, you know, before I get too far, so now this, my previous video I released responding to Rob Schaefer's comment. I don't want to be misunderstood about stuff. I'm not answering all questions through that, and not, you know, what I'm doing about employment and stuff like that, I'm not being all vocal about, and it don't matter, you know, that's not part of the thing, right? It's the gist of the point. And when it comes to Rob Schaefer's case, this is what bothers me, okay? Is because I stood up for, while your rights, you know, for what actually happened. Your rights were violated. Your civil rights were violated. I stood up with video, you know, the best I could to bring attention to it. Now, on the other hand, and when it pertains to you, you're not happy about it. You want everyone to know what they done to you and how you're not happy about it, and they're gonna pay, and they're gonna pay. And the truth is, this is what's bothering me, is because what was done to you has happened to many, many people all throughout this county. Right here, you know, several times a week in this city, right? What was done to you. They accuse you of OVI, I can show you a clip from, here's the Dio channel, did one where Tennessee had 600 of those cases, just like yours, right? If that had been me or anyone else in your shoes, they'd be told to suck it, right? That's how it is. Suck it up, right? What are you going to do about it unless you want to pay big, big, big money to fight this system that's allowing this stuff to happen? This is their big money for them. They're not going to let somebody come in and tear it down, okay? However, you play the whole LGBTQ card, right? Whatever. You know, you play that transgender card, and then they jump on it. Now your rights have been violated, and everybody needs to take notice. Fine and dandy, whatever. That's the wrong way, okay? Because that's not why your rights were violated. Everyone else around here goes through the same shit. And if they're a bus driver and get busted for OVI, I'm not saying, you know, everybody knows you weren't guilty of it, but you're assumed guilty, and it's not right. But other people have lost their jobs because it pertained to driving. Okay? That's just how it is. And, you know, none of them have any recourse. You play that card, now you got recourse, now you're going for millions of dollars. And meanwhile, at the end of the day, it's going to be the citizens, the taxpayers that are paying that bill. I, on the other hand, have been legitimately outright, and I'm not saying those aren't legitimate violations. I made a video and stood up for you, right? Mine was an outright blatant violations. No due process, nothing. Blatantly. So, I mean, that's how it was for you, and I'm not at all saying it was right. But in my case, like I say, I'm living the nightmare. I can recount now. I know exactly, every day's that day for me, right? From the minute I got home from work, or the 3rd, got home in the morning from work, thinking everything's just fine, and then, you know, till what I discovered, then till the minute I left for work, you know, and these guys come along and try to tell me I done something wrong, and I done nothing wrong, right? And, you know, from here on out, what I can show you how that year, how the next year played out completely, them continuously violating my rights harder and harder all the time, right? Hold on a minute. You know, I'm having these troubles, right, with studio and all that. Apparently, I could probably just, you know, after Christmas, set a shed up right in front of this doorway and use that as my studio and start doing my streams from right inside there, right? Save that for some other footage, but we just found Santa's naughty list. I'll tell you some of the names that are on there currently. Nicholas Fee, Douglas Ingle, Benjamin Mosier, Austin Little, Troy Essex, John Roars. I'm gonna stop right there. Those are the names I confirmed so far that's on that naughty list in there. Anyways, back at it. You will own nothing and be happy, and boy, didn't they sure prove that to me, right? November 11th, 2021 was a Thursday. I was working 3rd shift. Thought life was good, had some issues, thought it was getting straightened out, was doing my part to rightfully try to get those issues, certain things in my personal life with someone straightened out. My mistake was allowing it to put me into the position I was in. Come on. No. This way. You need to knock it off. This way. This way. You come on, we're going this way. This way. Let's go. This way. Hey, we're going this way. You think you're the boss? You think you're the boss? What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? You think you're the boss? Slow down. Well, now we know who the boss is, huh? Like I said, he thinks he's got to walk as human so far. Austin Little shows up to my work, arrests me, and throws me in jail. From that moment on, my life's been a nightmare. And I would get out, and the following day, get thrown back in jail by Benjamin Mosier and Austin Little. And later, as everything drug out, and by the time it was coming down to me losing my home, I was finding out just how bad it had gotten. How bad I suppose I was played, right? Like, people would do this stuff and keep themselves from holding accountability and acting like, well, it was out of their control, you know. At what point do you have remorse? Okay, you don't tell someone you love them. Obviously, you have absolutely no idea or understanding what love is. That you would not try to rectify that situation. Now, it is on them, and it is their fault. They did violate me, 100%. But, all of these actors involved turned my life into a nightmare that has not stopped yet. Every day is that day. But they came in and proved 100% you will own nothing and be happy. And when you try to do something about it, nobody's gonna step in. Nobody. I went every direction and tried everything so far. I mean, there's one or two things still going on. We'll see how that turns out. Otherwise, the rest of it, not one court system, appeals court, none of it. Why I start showing you what. Because the thing is, if you take my case, if they would see it the way I argued it, and they would have to rule in favor like they should have to, it would open up a whole can of worms for all of the state of Ohio, and maybe the whole United States, where they are taking control and rights over your property without due process. And that's exactly what they done to me. They took away my job, my home, every last bit, my clothes off of my back, Rob. So that what I'm saying is, yeah, I'm getting disturbed about it because I don't fit none of those categories. So it's all crickets for me on my case. Yours is a case that happens every damn day, and it's the people's own fault for sitting around and putting up with it and not trying to do something about it. Had it been me, I would have been fighting it properly. Come on. But, so I mean, when you pipe up with your comments about, does that rub me the wrong way? It starts to, yeah, because I'm sitting here in the position I'm in with a total complete violation, and I'm saying I'll do everything I can help anyone that's been violated. I don't agree with how you're fighting your case with this whole transgender bullshit, okay? But I do agree you were violated, and because of that, something needs done about it, okay? And everyone else who's been violated in that manner, and which is all of us around here. But now they're being all cool and calm because they know somebody's putting a spotlight on it, right? And it ain't your case putting the spotlight on it. People hear your case, oh, it's a nerve thing. We hear about that shit all the time. It's when you got someone out here all day long, every day, out here with the camera, pointing out who the real corrupt ones are, who the real problems are. Yeah, I mean, what are you doing with all your interviews with the major news and all that to help other people also, to draw spotlight on everyone else around here who's being violated, right? And I'm not talking particular me. There's other cases, right? As I've shown so far, and I'm going to show more. But, you know, what are you, once you get access to that platform, it's all, you know, instead of being all about yourself saying, hey, you know what, you know, I'm getting some recourse here, I appreciate this, but we have many other people being violated in Defiance, Ohio. No, we're not getting that. Instead, you think you're being supportive. I understand that. Oh, I'm sorry you can't understand this. Well, you're friends with Benjamin Mosier. It's like you put that on the video that was his where it showed him. Okay, he's a scumbag. And you keep trying to tell me to trust him and he's a friend. Well, he might be your friend. He's not mine. He's not, and he's a worthless public servant. A waste of taxpayer dollars. That's just a fact. Okay? So, I mean, whatever. When it comes down to it, I'm truly violated here with no recourse. Because I don't fit some special class, or I'm not going to try to play that card, right? I want real recourse here. And I don't want our citizens to have to pay for it. But at the end of the day, they're threatening us. You will own nothing and be happy. And we're all waiting for some politician to stand up and say, hey, you're going to vote on these WEF policies. You're going to vote on Mr. Gates' policies. You're going to vote on Davos' policies. It's not happening. They're already being implemented right now, right under your nose, right under our noses. They're being implemented. And the people implementing these things are people from our very own communities who we elect into offices, right? Trust them when they make their threats. Everything they threaten happens. And here we are now. You will own nothing and be happy. And that's a fact. And if you talk against it, they're going to come and take it away from you. All of it. Every last thing. Trust me on that. Ask me how I know. Like I said, happy Veterans Day, right? Here it is, November 11th. 3 years into a nightmare for me. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep all of his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. See ya.